I hit every single bet that I put on the board for UFC 299, and let's see if we can create that success again at UFC Vegas 88. My name is Angelo. This is We Want Picks, and I'm going to give you my bets for UFC Vegas 88. But before I do, let me give you $50. The only thing you need to do is go to WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up with any one of our partners using the links on that page, make a deposit, and we send you $50. It's affiliate marketing. You're going to use the link and create an account. They're going to pay me as a thank you, and then I'm going to slice off some of that money and give it right back to you. WeWantPicks.com/bets, sign up, make a deposit, and we will send you $50 as a thank you. Here's a closer look at UFC 299. My bets are right here in this little spreadsheet. I hit every single one. The blue are my safety parlays. I had 2 safety parlays for UFC 299. This yellow in the middle, that was a refunded bet. I had Petr Yan inside the distance decision, no action. That went to a decision, so no action, meaning I got a full refund on that. Other than that, Michael Page, cash. Jack Della Maddalena, thank God, super close, cash. Michelle Pereira, cash. And then Maddalena Burns over 1.5 parlayed with St. Denis and Poirier over 1.5. That hashed by 2 seconds. The difference between winning that bet and losing that bet was literally 2 seconds. Either way, very, very successful night. I only had 7.3 units on the board, which is a lot for me, but also not that many in general for a pay-per-view. And I gave you 83% return on that investment. If you want to unlock the safety parlay for this event and every other event, it's only $10 a month. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top, and that will instantly give you access to the safety parlay, which, as you can see here, is wildly successful, as well as every single bet that I place, every single bet that Jacob places, all of our picks, tools, rounds, insight, and more. Just go to WeWantPicks.com, click Become a Member at the top. It is only $10 for an entire month, and this is going to give you 4 events. It's $2.50 a freaking event. The return on investment I just gave you for UFC 299 pays for many, many, many months, if not years, depending on your unit size of premium membership. You're going to get tools. It's not like a Patreon. Lots of people just sell a Patreon, which is a list, a post. We have a full-blown interactive website that unlocks instantly. You're going to get tools like the line movement tracker, detailed data metrics and analytics, and so much more. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member at the top. Listen, this is a sketchy card. I don't like this card. You're going to see my bets in a second on the next slide here. But before I do, let's just talk about some solid favorites and some live dogs. Again, I don't love this card. There are not a lot of spots that I like here. A couple of these favorites are way too big of favorites. A couple of the dogs aren't doggy enough, if that makes sense. And I just don't love it, especially after dominating UFC 299. But let's talk about the favorites. Thiago Moises. He's just the better fighter in this matchup. He's fighting UFC newcomer Mitch Ramirez. Thiago Moises has been around forever, even though he's only 28 years old. He's a well-rounded guy, good striking, good cardio, good jiu-jitsu. He was already on this card against a much tougher opponent, and Mitch Ramirez is the one stepping up on short notice. Mitch is a wrestler. We just watched Thiago get dog-walked by a wrestler, but that's not going to matter here. I like Thiago Moises, and his line is rebounding a little bit. He was all the way up to -4 something. He's back down to -370. I don't know why, because a lot of these other favors are just beyond. Mike Davis is -500. Let's put it that way. Then we have Gerald Meerschaert. I'll tell you right now, just because he's on this list doesn't mean you should bet him. He should win this fight. He's fighting Brian Barberena, who has been taken down 18 times in his last 3 fights. He's fighting Brian Barberena, who, honestly, if he took this sport seriously, would be like a 155-pounder. He's fighting Brian Barberena, who will just stand there, bomb, and after that, that's it. That's it. He actually has skills and tools. He just doesn't use them. He just wants to be a bar brawler. He cuts his hair like a bar brawler. He leaves his gut like a bar brawler, so he's just going to be a bar brawler. Gerald Meerschaert is actually the better fighter. Maybe the better striker, not power. The biggest issue here is you can't trust Gerald's chin. This guy gets very chinny, can almost be put out at any moment. So you can't trust his chin, and Brian will just sit down and bomb big overhand. So Gerald Meerschaert should win this fight. He's better literally everywhere except power and durability. Then Kennedy Nzechukwu. It's unfortunate that his line is now -700. He was -4-ish. -5, even -500 is totally fine. He should dominate this fight. Yes, he was just knocked out last year, But he was knocked out last year by Dustin Jacoby, a world-class kickboxer. A guy who was literally ranked number 2 in the world when he was a kickboxer. And now he's fighting a 40-year-old who hasn't seen the second round in a while. He's fighting a 40-year-old who has all the talent and none of the drive, doesn't seem to care, just sort of shows up, throws no punches, and gets put away. Kennedy Nzechukwu will look like a minus 700 favorite. It's just unfortunate for us that that's what those odds are. And then Bryan Battle. Listen, I love Bryan Battle. I'm a big Bryan Battle guy. I went on and on this week in our multiple pick videos about how Bryan's evolution as a fighter is very apparent in every single fight. He physically looks amazing. Each fight, he physically looks better. His skills improve from fight to fight. We're seeing him improve his wrestling. We're seeing him knock people out with punches, with knees, with kicks. Like, we're seeing giant improvements week to week, and that's just his dedication to this sport. This is arguably his toughest fight outside of the Renat Fakhretdinov fight. This is arguably his toughest fight. I do think he wins, but it makes me nervous. We talk about underdogs. Listen, I don't love this card. I can't be more clear than that. And I can't sit here and pretend that this is the easiest card. We got our spots. Let's get those bookies. I hate that cheese ball. Let's make them pay. Come on. Be a human. Be normal. This is a tough-ass card. There's a lot of low-level fights on this card, a lot of sloppy fights on this card, and that makes it tough to bet because sloppy, low-level fights means you don't know if it's going to go to a decision or if somebody's going to get mollywopped. You don't know who's actually going to show up, which unreasonably large favorite is just going to shit the bed. But if we look at underdogs, I do like Chelsea Chandler. She's going to be a literal giant in this fight. She's fighting Josiane Nunes, who's just short, stocky, will bomb away. And her record's going to make you think she's a finisher, and she's not, and we'll show you a bet on the next slide here. But I think Chelsea Chandler can just move forward, be humongous, lean against the cage, and win. Then we got Christian Rodriguez. I do not think Christian wins this fight. He's on this list because he's a solid underdog because he has beaten the odds twice. 2 times in a row now. He was an underdog against a young prospect. 2 times in a row. He was an underdog against a young, I believe, undefeated prospects. He beat Raul Rosas Jr., he beat Cameron Saman, and now another young, undefeated prospect. The argument everybody's going to make who has bet on Christian Rodriguez is that Christian Rodriguez has plenty of durability. Christian Rodriguez can defend takedowns and has cardio, and we haven't seen Isaac Dulgarian, his opponent, get out of the first round. We don't know what his cardio is going to be. I've wrestled my entire life. I've been around wrestlers my entire life. Isaac Dulgarian is a wrestler from a decent wrestling region, right? The Midwest. And he's a little guy. And he's accomplished quite a bit as a wrestler. And you don't accomplish a lot as a little guy wrestling in a good wrestling region by not having amazing cardio. You just can't. If you're talking about heavyweights in Alabama, yeah, go ahead. You don't need cardio. You're talking little man in the Midwest, you got to have some good cardio. So I do not think Christian Rodriguez wins this fight, but he is on this list because he has proven that he can be a prospect killer, and he has proven that doesn't matter. Give him a nasty wrestler and he'll weather the storm and get it done. And then Marcin Tybura. They are heavyweights. Heavyweight fights are notoriously tough to pick. One punch changes everything at heavyweight. And Marcin Tybura is not a one-punch guy. He is going to need to avoid getting hit, close the distance, get Tuivasa to the ground. I think he can do that. I'm actually picking him to win this fight. It's not like the Christian Rodriguez situation, but this is what I'm talking about. I think Chelsea Chandler wins this fight. I don't love those odds. I think Marcin Tybura wins this fight. I don't love those odds. Only minus 103, plus 108 if you go to BetOpenly. BetOpenly, they're not a sports book, so you're going to get better odds 100% of the time. BetOpenly is peer-to-peer, person-to-person, human-to-human betting. Somebody is going to bet Marcin Tybura at plus 108, and then somebody's going to bet Tai Tuivasa at plus 108. You're going to get plus 108 potentially on both sides, maybe minus 108, but either way, it's going to be better odds than a sports book because they don't care if you win or lose. It's just sheer volume. So that is an option for you. The biggest reason to do that would be Kennedy Nzechukwu. You're going to get them at minus 525. That is a massive gap between the Bet Online odds and the Bet Openly odds. Either way, let's take a look at my actual bets. I only have 2 3/4 units bet on this card. And I'm not going to sit here again and just throw up random bets to make this be a full spreadsheet. That's just doesn't make any sense, because you know what happens? Oh, this video will be better because there's 6, 7 bets on here, and up until Saturday night, yeah, let's go. Oh, I love these bets. And then they miss, and then you lose a ton of money because you put bets on a spreadsheet for video. That's just not who I am. When I bet, it's my actual money. My very real money gets bet on these fights, and I'm not going to bet things that I don't believe in, that I don't trust. I'm a very safe guy when it comes to betting. So nothing to force here, but I do have the Nunes-Chandler over 2.5 rounds. I got it at minus 125. It's plus 100 right now. You're going to get better odds on it right now. And the reality is, neither one of them are finishers. Nunes' record is going to make you think she's a finisher. She's not a finisher. Go watch her last fight. Couldn't finish a 40-year-old. Just bombing away, sloppy as hell, very hittable. Chelsea Chandler, I believe, is going to slow this pace, hold Nunes against the cage, just lean on her all huge, and prevent any wild exchanges. So I think this does go to a decision. Half a unit at minus 125. Again, you're going to get better odds than that today. Then I did parlay I parlayed 2 favorites that I do think win, but they are both risky. Brian Battle and Thiago Moises. Thiago should not be risky, but there's just something weird about that fight. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about that fight that makes me a little bit nervous. But I have him and Brian Battle together because I think they both win. I am confident in both of them. And even though I just have this weird gut feeling about Thiago, I'm still going to go ahead, stick with my brain. Minus 108 when you slap them together. And then I got Pani Khanzad plus 3.5 points. This is a newer bet. It's only a quarter of a unit. And my fear with that fight is that it's going to look like her last fight, where she's taken down immediately in all 3 rounds and doesn't even have the opportunity to cover the spread. If you don't know what plus 3.5 points is, that's a spread. So when you talk about football and basketball, baseball, all the other sports, there can be point spreads. Plus 3.5 points is the exact same thing in MMA. You're basically buying 3.5 points on the judges' scorecards. And the way that math works out is all Pani has to do is either win the fight outright or win one single round on all 3 judges' scorecards. If you lose a 29-28 decision, or if you lose a split decision, this pays. And I do think this is a close fight. Pani's a very good fighter. Pani is the better striker in this matchup. My one and only concern is the takedown defense, but I threw a quarter of a unit on this. I think this can hit, and the fact that it's minus 150 honestly feels like a gift, because a lot of these female fights, plus 3.5 on the underdog is like minus 230 regardless of the odds. And then I have the safety parlay. You're going to have to be a premium member to unlock that. Not the greatest odds I've ever put up for a safety parlay, but this is a tricky card, and the key word is safety. And I had somebody reach out to me on Instagram, hey, Angelo, can you add another leg to the safety parlay? The reality is it's not that easy. It's not magic. I can't just add a leg. Oh, now it's still going to hit no matter what. Here's a 3rd leg. Boom. That's just not how it works, unfortunately. I was able to do that last week because there was a lot of spots I was very confident in. This week, I have my 2 most confident spots. I put them together, and I'm positive it's going to hit. That's just how the safety parlay works. Some weeks, much better odds than others, but the safety parlay hits at an astonishing rate. You're not going to find a single bet in this space that hits at a higher accuracy and gives you more return on investment than the safety parlay. That's just a straight up fact. WeWantPicks.com, click become a member. It's only $10 an entire month. You will unlock that safety parlay. And if the only thing you ever did was bet the safety parlay, you would not only cover membership, but have all sorts of profit in your pocket week in and week out. Here's a closer look at Jacob's bets. Jacob has 10 total units on the board for premium members. I'm going to give you a little bit as a teaser. The rest you're going to have to unlock as a premium member. He's got Danny Silva plus 170. That is his underdog lock of the week. He thinks Danny beats Josh Coulibaugh. His entire point essentially is that Danny Silva is actually going to be the more technical striker. Josh Coulibaugh just gets hit, gets in the pocket, wings, gets hit. And he thinks Danny Silva can capitalize on that, be the better striker, land the better strikes. And then Isaac Dolgarian. He is insanely confident in Isaac. He got him at minus 140. I believe Isaac's a bigger favorite than that now. But he got him at minus 140. And that is the benefit to premium membership. You get our bets instantly when we place them. Many times we beat the odds. Obviously, I didn't beat the odds with the over 2.5 for the Nunes fight, but I certainly have beat the odds on some of those other bets. Unlock the rest of Jacobs at WeWantPicks.com. And then here's a closer look at BetOpenly. I mentioned before, it is peer-to-peer, human-to-human betting. You can literally try to take my money. You can take Jacobs' money. You can bet the other side of the lock of the week, so bet on Josh Cooleybow, and if you hit Jacobs' bet, you take his money. And the safety parlay, you can bet against the safety parlay. And the way that housing parlays works for BetOpenly is you just need one leg to miss. So last week when I had a 3-leg safety parlay, it hit, so wouldn't have worked for you, but you just need one of the 3 legs to miss, and then you get paid. On sketchy cards like this, that is my advice to you. Go to BetOpenly. Cruise through the parlays that people have open and just bet against them. Just bet against the parlays. You know how people are. People love throwing $10 at an 8-leg parlay for a massive payout. Those miss more often than they hit. Bet against those. Go find the far-reaching parlays. Go find the parlays that you think there's a sketchy fighter in there where they parlayed an underdog for some reason. Bet against them. Be the house. Take those bets. And they just added prop bets as well, so you can check them out at betopenly.com or wewantpicks.com/betopenly. And finally, what weekend would it be if I didn't get to give you $50? wewantpicks.com/bets. Sign up, make a deposit, and we send you $50 as a thank you.